Every year I love to travel. Traveling is my only hobby and I've been doing it so far. But then how am I still able to do that while achieving my biggest financial goals? I'm going to be breaking it down. I've traveled to over 7 countries, from Singapore to South Korea to Japan to Thailand to UK to Dubai, and I've done this while still on track to achieving my financial goals. Now you might be wondering, how did I do this? And in this video I'm going to be sharing with you how I did it, how I currently do it, because every year I love to travel. Traveling is my only hobby and I've been doing it so far. But then how am I still able to do that while achieving my biggest financial goals? I'm going to be breaking it down. Let's get right into it. So if you're one that loves to travel but feel like you never have money to travel, this video is for you. Now before we get into the tea, I want to let you know that I still work 9 to 5. So my salary is still what is funding my lifestyle. It's just that I've created systems around this salary that has helped me to be able to achieve all this while still living in Nigeria, not planning to japa, and living the best of both worlds. One thing is, you need to create systems around your money. Being a Nigerian and living in Nigeria, there is always this invisible choice that you have to make between living for today and saving for tomorrow. But what if I tell you, you can do both of them even as a 9 to 5er? Yes, I currently do it and it has been working so far for me, but you need to create systems around your money so that this is possible for you as well. Now, what are these systems I'm talking about? I have a sinking fund. Now, every single month, I've talked about how I now use the 40, 45, 15% as a rule to divide my salary, where 40% is for my needs, 45% for my savings and investment, and 15% for my wants. This was not always the case. I was using 50, 30, 20 rule before transitioning to this, which is still working for me because now I've grown from the position of an assistant manager to a deputy manager, where my salary was also increased alongside. But now this 15% I keep in this particular account where I know that it is meant to fund my traveling. Another source of income that I use for this is the investment I made in a printing press. So every 3 months I get 500,000 naira from that investment and I push it to that account. So imagine that 4 times in a year I get 2 million naira and it is in that account waiting to be used for my trips. So instead of me just saying that all my savings and investments, I'm using it to fund my lifestyle of traveling, I've just been able to create a system whereby that 45% that I now use for savings and investment have been apportioned into dollar savings, into mutual funds, into treasury bills, into piggy vests, all those places that stocks that are going to help me to be building wealth, while allowing this my 15% to be for me to be able to do those things that I love as well, so that I'm not feeling like I'm missing out on anything. So instead of this particular investment now that I've talked about coming into that my 45%, which I'm using for my savings and investment, I decided to be using that for my own self. It would be easier for somebody to say that money should be going into the savings and investment as well, but no, I decided no. I want to enjoy life as well. I love so many things. I love coffee. I love talking about everything. I love traveling. Traveling is my only hobby. So why don't I travel now instead of saving up for a future that I am not yet sure of? That is my rationale behind why I travel almost every year, and especially being that I find this sort of joy when I travel. Traveling has opened my eyes to a lot of things. This now brings me to the wealthy way of traveling as a Nigerian, because trust me, your money can take you so far. So what do you need to do now to help you achieve the best trips ever? The first thing you need to do is to book everything in advance. Yes, book everything in advance, because last year I basically got flogged from having to wait till the end before I had to book the flight, and this was caused by the embassy themselves. Guys, I was so stressed last year from having to travel to Japan, and this was my first time, but the embassy made the whole process one kind, so it was not the easiest. But one thing I've always done so far in my travel history is to book flights way ahead, book hotels way ahead. So for my flight, for most parts I use Qatar and Emirates. So the earlier you book, the cheaper the flight is going to be, obviously. And then I try to book my flights on Tuesdays, Wednesdays and Thursdays. These days you tend to get better deals. Even when you check the calendar for the maybe airlines travel calendar, you find that these particular dates have better deals. So I tend to go for those ones. And now for the hotels, I try to book my hotels on booking.com, which I try to book 5 months in advance, like way ahead of time, because you get better deals, cheaper deals, so you are now able to afford it more. Like in 2022, I went to Thailand, and if I tell you that the entirety of my trip, I stayed 3 weeks in Thailand, I did not spend more than 3 million naira on that trip. That was because I booked a lot of things way ahead of time. And to be honest with you, it still comes from having a travel history that makes you believe that these embassies are going to give you visa easily. Where you work still contributes, so that should also contribute to whether you know that you are going to get the visa. That now gives you the conviction to book your flight way ahead, book the hotel way ahead. So that should still be considered. But luckily, I found myself in a place where I work in a reputable place that can make me know that I can get visa easily. I recently just got a UK visa to go back to the UK. I did my masters in the UK, but now I'm just going to go and renew my bank card, because I have a Barclays account and I've been having issues with it. Instead of me having to be stressing about having international card for payment, why don't I go and renew that? So I have that trip coming up. You should watch out for that. But that aside, I try to book everything in advance. It makes the trip way easier. And then the fact that putting your money in dollars, especially when it comes for this planning of trips, try to convert whatever money you are saving into dollars. Then you know that your money is not going to be devaluing. Because I had to convert naira to dollar at different points. The first time I changed my money, I changed at 1,600. The second time at 2,000. The next time at 1,600. At some point 1,400. So imagine that fluctuation, which is now affecting how much you are now going to be using for the trip. So for me to be able to afford this South Korea and Japan trip, I spent roughly 10 million naira, which was quite stressful, because if I had been able to travel the year I wanted to travel, or even I'd book my flights at the time I wanted to book it, I would have not had to spend that much money. But converting your money to dollars, it makes it easy for you to be able to afford the trips whenever you want to achieve it. So you see all those money that I now get, that I know that I'm going to be using for traveling, I now convert it to dollars so that it will reduce the stress of depreciation of the naira. Now let's talk about the experience you get from traveling and how traveling will change your mindset. Traveling will make you see living Nigeria as a holiday, as an experience, and will make you not want to japa out of Nigeria. So like there's that pro and there's the cons of it. So most people that travel out of Nigeria as japa, until you go out to these countries before you now know that Nigeria is a vibe when it comes to living. It's just that you need to have money to be able to achieve this. But for me, traveling has been an experience that I've made friends from India, from Thailand, from Japan, from different parts of the world. It will help you think of life differently. There's this joy I get from traveling, and funny enough, most of the times I've traveled alone, and I've been able to make friends, create memories that will last me a lifetime from just traveling. And it is one thing that has influenced my idea that jackpotting is not for me, because I know that I can travel to these countries, experience their cultures, and then come back to this vibe called Nigeria. So imagine that. But then for most people, jackpotting is like an escape, whatever they see it as. But for me, traveling is an experience, is an eye-opener. It is a way for me to build memories. It is a way for me to know about the world. And it has been quite an experience, trust me. But affording to travel is not something that is easy for every single Nigerian, I know. But creating systems around your money can also make it possible. Even though you don't even travel to maybe other continents, you can start from Africa. You can even travel to Obudukaturo, and that is still in Nigeria right here. But for me, I've decided to travel from far, and I'm coming back home. But that's it, guys. I feel like this video I rambled a little too much, but it's just because I love traveling a lot. But how am I able to travel it? By creating that sinking fund in Zenith Bank, where I put my 15% of my salary, and then that's percentage from my investment, and maybe any other small money that comes. I know that I want to build up this money for my trip. I put it into that account, and that is how I'm able to travel while still achieving my biggest financial goals. All that matters is that for my investments, I reinvested them into the investment, so that I'm not taking out the money for that investment and using it to travel when I have a dedicated amount of money that comes in for traveling. But that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video, or at least it gave you an insight into how you can travel as a 9-to-5er in Nigeria. If you like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, join the family, and check out this other video right here. I'll see you guys in my next one.